In the 70s and 80s, if you wanted to make a record, you had to go spend a ton of money and rent a real recording studio in one of the big cities. It wasn't like it is now. You couldn't just make a record in your house. And so in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s is actually when the transition started that you could record stuff that sounded great without having to go to an expensive studio. I saw that opportunity, and at the same time, I saw the demand that my friends that I had made around the country from ski racing. They all wanted me to tell them what bands to buy. So it was really a natural, organic process that occurred. I ended up coming up with the idea to start a compilation of my favorite unsigned bands from all over the country as sort of like a national network of local and regional bands. And this was pre-internet. This was like 1993. So you didn't have the internet yet. So if you're a great local regional band, you were big in your part of the country, but no one knew you. If you're in the South, no one knew you in the West. And so I wanted to find the best of each part of the country, put them together on one compilation, and sort of be the network between all of them. And that's what we did. My cover was a miniature version of all the band's covers, which helped people when they walked into a store recognize the band that they knew with bands that they didn't know on the compilation, which is what hopefully made people then want to buy it to find out more about the other bands. The whole key of this was to find bands that were unsigned at the time. So I was able to find bands such as Dave Matthews Band, Hootie and the Blowfish, a band called Tabitha's Secret, which they changed their name to Matchbox 20. Jack Johnson ended up being on it, John Mayer, Train, Five for Fighting, Better Than Ezra. What happened was a lot of the bands that ended up on the compilation ended up getting signed. The second one that came out, 10 of the 12 bands ended up getting signed to major labels, which was pretty cool. Today is kind of the Wild West. There's almost a resurgence of the major labels happening. They've all consolidated now down to 4. You know, there were probably 10 or 12 when I first started. So they've consolidated. They've cut the cost down to a point where finally they can break even or make money. But I actually just read this morning in the Boston Globe that global music is up 0.3% this year. But overall, it's down 100% from 10 years ago. I think what's happened is that the music business has actually finally stabilized. It's taken a long time, and what's happening is you have so many new ways to consume music. It's not just the purchasing of music. Most people today don't care if they own it. They just want to listen to it. We're seeing a sort of a resurgence in the music business because there's more places to consume it. Just physical distribution is absolutely dying. It's going to be a digital world. Eventually, there's going to be, we call it the utility model of music, which means your phone bill, your cable bill, somewhere, a bill that you pay every month that's just going to have a charge for an extra $5, let's say. And you will be able to access whatever you want from any of your devices. And once that happens, I think that's going to, one, increase the flow of money will go up again, and it's going to make people consume even more music. I think the biggest thing people today that are graduating should do is take some risks, do some things that are out of your comfort zone right now, and know if the worst thing that happens is you have to go work for someone at some point, then you do that, but you need to go do what you need to do, and I'll guarantee you, even if you fail, it'll be something that changes your life in a positive way, even if it's not successful.